Call the meeting to order. Devin, would you like to take roll call, please?
Here.
Ed? Absent. Bill?
Here.
Jim?
Here.
Don?
Yes. Okay. Approval of the agenda. I've added down under old business and building for the snow removal equipment. Something else you add? Budget. We're finished with the budget.
Scratch the budget.
Scratch the budget. Okay. Anything else? Accept the motion to approve minutes of the agenda. All in favor? Okay. Devin, would you read the minutes from last meeting?
City of Greensburg Board of Aviation Commissioners, September 26, 2011. Time 7 p.m. Roll call present: John Dooley, Ed Dwanger, Bill Erstis, Jim Pruitt, and Don Whipple. Motion made by John Dooley and seconded by Ed Dwanger to approve the agenda as presented. Motion carried. The minutes from August 22nd, 2011 and August 31st, 2011 were presented for approval. Motion by Jim Pruitt and seconded by John Dooley to approve. Motion carried. Old business. John Dooley gave the financial report on the airport balances. New business. John Dooley passed out the existing airport rules for the BOA Act to review. Motion by Jim Pruitt and seconded by Don Whipple to table discussion. Motion carried. Discussion about needing a building to house the SRE and equipment ensued. The SRE should be delivered by January. John Dooley and Don Whipple will talk with Jerry Scheidler about where the building should be placed at the airport. Don Manley will check on the guidelines concerning airspace and environmental requirements. Motion by Jim Pruitt and seconded by Don Whipple to table. Motion carried. The bill packet was presented for approval. Motion to approve payment of all claims with payment to run bond being paid upon insurance funding available by John Dooley and seconded by Don Whipple. Motion carried. Don Manley reported that the FAA had canceled the public hearing that was scheduled for September 21st, 2011. Don would also like for the BOA Act to discuss what they would like to see in the CIP. Motion to adjourn by John Dooley and seconded by Jim Pruitt. Motion carried. Meeting was dismissed at 7:40 p.m.
See any changes or additions?
Yeah, that was me and Don, not Sean and Don.
Also, just a minor technicality, to approve the agenda as amended rather than presented, as it was amended.
Motion to approve minutes?
I'll move that we approve minutes with those modifications, changes.
Roll call, please.
John?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Don?
Yes.
Okay. Financial report.
Okay, the financial report that we have the three accounts for the Greensburg Municipal Airport. In the airport improvement account, current balance is stands at $165,609.01. In the aviation rotary fuel account, $102,899.65. In the airport operations fund, $167,748.77. Total of all three accounts combined $436,257.43.
If you want to start the discussion on the SRE bill,
Okay, last month, Bill, you had asked Jim and I to look into this thing a little bit. And Jim said he was pretty busy, and I understand that. And myself being retired and fancy-free, and I decided to go do some searching and asking questions. Went out and talked with Miller Equipment to get sizes on the equipment. And at the time I was out there, they happened to have one of these tractors in the shop working on it. That thing is huge. Mr. Manley sitting over there grinning. But we did some measuring on the tractor. They had I think it's our snow blower already in. And also did some looking for the blade. Well, the tractor with the blade and the blower both on it is going to be somewhere around 14 feet wide and 30 feet long. It takes up quite a bit of space. When they suggested 10 to 10 space to store the loader and another 10 to 10 space to store the rotary broom. And these are estimates. Well, then as we well know, we have a truck. And unfortunately, I just had limited copies, but on page 2 of the Gabe and fellows over there shows the tractor, snow blower, and the loader, the rotary broom, and the truck in there. There's a lot of room left in that building, but I think it was Bill and I were talking to Jerry out at the airport one day, and he was mentioning future needs, like for the batwing, bush hog to mow grass along the runway, and maybe another tractor to pull it. I don't know. That's something down the road too. But, we can pretty well cram a 40 to 60 building full down the road pretty quickly, I think. So that's what I drew up, and just to give you an idea of what it might look like. I put 16-foot wide, 14-foot high overhead doors. I don't know that they need to be overhead. I talked to one fellow about the pole barn concept, and I get a number anywhere from 15 to 25,000, depending on what kind of floor and what kind of doors we put on it. Chatted with Bernie Haggerty one day. Was talking to him about something else, and so I asked him about this too. A steel building probably is somewhere in the $45,000 to $50,000 figure. Quite honestly, I don't know that we need a steel building as a storage building. I think just about all the hangers are pole barns, aren't they?
Yeah.
Pole buildings. So, well, then the first page there, went out and did some measuring, and the little square there on the diagram denotes an approximate building. And if you'll notice, it's set back off the taxiway. We set that back 50 feet, just like the hangars are on the other side of the taxiway. And you stick a 40-foot building in there, and there's still about 40 to 45 feet behind it to the property line. So it would fit in there. I don't see any problem with that. And John and I were out there looking at the site too.
Yeah. You said doors 14 foot. How much height is the tractor actually?
The tractor is 12 feet tall. are just about 12 feet tall.
Their door choices would be slide open doors or an overhead
You
door.
could do slide open doors, if it's 16 feet wide, each one be 8 and slide them open. And that, I'm sure, is by far the most economical way to go. Bernie Haggerty indicated an overhead door that size would probably run $7-8 grand. And I know the sliding door put on a pole barn is not going to be anyways near that. They figured in with almost the price of the building.
Well, they're harder to open when there's a lot of snow. So.
They aren't really, if you keep the track cleaned out and keep it clean, they aren't hard to open. But basically, that's our report at this point. I don't know what the board wants to do. I guess you did ask, according to the minutes, I don't know if he did anything. Have you checked into it at all, Don?
Yes.
Or are we a go, or are we gonna have to jump through a bunch of hoops?
There is certain criteria that you need to follow, even if it's because you're a federal grant program, you meet assurances. So there is some criteria that you have to
You
follow.
need an EA and an airspace. Is that the criteria you're referring to? Are there any other criteria you know about? Those two. Are those big deals or little deals for this sort of project?
Not big deals.
I mean,
No, the building itself is CADX. Probably the biggest expense is getting an archaeological. If there's no archaeological done on the property, probably that's the biggest expense. Reconnaissance, or at least a record search or something that's been done in the past. I doubt that. So you're looking at, say, $3,000 to $4,000 for environmental, and the airspace is hundreds.
yeah, okay. Another thing is the time.
Actually, you all can do it by yourself without needing about the airspace level. You could do the environmental.
Don, could you speak up? I can't hardly hear you.
I'm sorry. I suppose I should have stood up. The question was whether or not there's something that's required by the FAA. And because you're a grant airport, even local projects have to go through an environmental process. And of course, there's the airspace because of the building. Now, the building, if it's shadowed by another building taller, which I think it is, set back behind it, then that's not really an issue. On the airspace, they probably wouldn't even require. Once you send it in, they'll probably say no, it's not needed.
Well,
So it's not shadowed. Okay, so then a modified airspace would have to happen. The archaeological would be what we call, it's the lower quality type of archaeological. It's a categorical exclusion. That doesn't take a lot of time. You can get it done by the time you're going through getting the building laid out and set up. It'd take less time for that than it would be the airspace probably. The cost in the environmental is going to be the archaeological reconnaissance.
Would it be of any advantage to us to do all of this on every bit of property we have?
The archaeological reconnaissance doesn't, yes, it would be a big advantage to get it all done out of the way.
Sure, that we would have to go back every time.
Correct.
Okay. Quick question. Is there any time frame that you cannot do these, such as midwinter?
Archaeological is a field reconnaissance, so that would have to have a time when there's no snow on the ground. And if the ground is frozen, then sometimes it's hard to, if they have to do a sampling, dig or anything, that would be have to be delayed. But they could actually get out in the field and do the reconnaissance without the dig. They usually determine whether or not they have to come back in.
Don, how fast could this be done?
Usually, we give a notice about a week in advance, and then they check their schedule. Usually, most of the time, we're doing it either through Bloomington, Indiana University, or Ball State. The archaeological staff, either one of those universities is what we normally use. A month, and they would get the reconnaissance done. Usually takes another 30 days to get the report. And it has to be filed with State Historic Preservation Officer, and then they will do a review, and that varies on their review time, on how quick they will respond. I don't have any control over that part.
Are you saying that if we start tomorrow, it's going to be the end of December before we have the final report?
Yeah.
What about the airspace?
The airspace usually takes about 45 to, depending on staffing, 45 minimum. Could take up to 90 days, normally not. For this right here is probably 45 to 60 days.
So we're pushing. I mean, this thing's coming up in January.
40, as I say, the airspace is probably going to be your biggest hurdle in time, not the archaeological.
Well, what I'm getting at is if this equipment's coming, if this equipment's coming in January, I mean, we're gonna have to hustle and get this thing ready for it to go into. So it looks like we're gonna have to do something on this tonight. Now, the other question is that do we have to let bids the actual construction of the building?
That's a local call on what the level is. It could be $50,000, or you have another home rule. I don't know what your if you have a home rule on your bidding requirements.
I think there is, but I don't know what the number is.
Have to check with the mayor on that. Or June would probably be
Because that's going to be another hurdle. If we have to do that, that's another hurdle.
Yes. Now, because it's a public building, you may be required to file it with the state. It's a design release form in order to get your improvement process taken care of.
There's some difference in whether it's an inhabited building or a storage building.
Yes, it does. It's a different code requirement.
Different codes on it altogether, so. This would be the easiest of the two, I'm sure.
Yeah. Just public buildings versus private is a big difference in scheduling.
Not much anymore.
Oh, really?
We need to get some consideration, maybe some temporary, obviously this is going to take longer than we wanted to. So what we're going to do is the SRE temporarily through the winter. Maybe we need to find something to do, for the winter and spring when we get.
Well, again, though, I thought I heard Mr. Manley say that this was not to leave the airport property. That equipment, is that true?
I think the question was at one time was to put it, if the county could receive it.
At the fairgrounds.
Yeah, that's acceptable.
That's acceptable? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
They
it's-
charge. I mean, the way that they charge, for motorhomes and boats and whatever, they charge by
Size and space used,
which
doesn't really matter if we don't have a building. I'm sorry, it just doesn't really matter.
Right.
and it's got to be a building large enough. The only one I can think of off the top of my head is the big building, the big cattle barn.
The new building down there it has a did go over and measure that building.
in and around January sometime. They have the weigh-in, I think it is, the cattle weigh-in.
Not in that new building.
Well, they always had to move my motorhome, they had to move it out of there in order to do that. And they moved them out. It was just a day, I think a day thing, is all it was. But if we do put it in there, obviously it's gonna have to be in a position where it can get out if we need it. And that's something we need to talk to Mark Gearhart about, whether we can even go in there or not.
Do we need to proceed and let Don go ahead and do these studies?
I think we do. I think we do. There's nothing to be done until those are finished anyway.
I mean, we need to go ahead and move ahead on it, so, we have this thing at least by spring. So
You know what
those
I'm
buildings are empty at the 1st of March, 1st of April. So we need to have our building up and ready for the first part of April at the latest. Which is roughly 6 months from now.
If that's the case, if I can offer usually an hourly not to exceed, so that we could get started, because I have no proposal before you. So under general services, we have the general services contract, so that you could just, under the general services, just use an hourly not to exceed, and just mark a $4,000 item on that for just to get started. And I'll come back and report to you at the next monthly meeting what the status of it all is. We'll get started.
So what do we just need a motion to have you under the general contract proceed with investigation of environmental and airspace.
And to back up, we'll make sure everybody on the board, I am, we'll make sure everybody on the board's interested in that location doing this. I am,
Well, I think personally, I think that's the best location.
but I think so too.
Unless someone's, got a better location, I don't see how we can do that.
We have to store something, so.
It's gotta be done, I mean, I don't know if there's any two ways about that, you have to have that building.
Should we make a motion to direct Taylor, or we need to do that? Correct you.
Yeah,
See the motion. Okay.
Well, then I would move that Butler Fairman and Seaford, under their general services contract, be authorized to move forward with an environmental or an archaeological and environmental study and airspace. We need an airspace. We need to just go ahead and file for the airspace, or just an airspace study?
Oh, it's just filing of an airspace. It's not a
So
study.
filing an airspace.
It's called a study though.
Well,
The FAA calls it.
That far for runway, that building could be 50 feet tall, probably.
It's not, it's just a matter of formality.
An airspace study, now you said something about not to exceed.
The price,
I mean, what,
hourly not to exceed $4,000. If I see it coming close to or exceeding the $4,000, I'm not authorized to charge you any more than that without coming back to the full board for authorization for the extension of the not to exceed. At least ties it down.
I'm trying to think of the best way to word that. On an hourly basis, not to exceed $4,000 without further approval.
Yeah, not come back, I don't have a firm number, I'll just come back later and figure out where we are, whether that's good or bad or what. And have a full proposal before you.
Did you realize what? Last question before we vote on that. The EA and the airspace would be reimbursable, but the building itself something on, is that correct, the way we do this, am I right?
I'll have to check on that.
You're not even sure if that's reimbursable.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have to confirm. The archaeological will be reimbursed for full CAD X, I'm not sure it is.
Okay, all right. Okay.
So anyway, that's the motion. Anybody want a second?
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
John,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Bill.
Yes. New business. Airport rules.
Sure, airport rules, we've got copies in front, we brought these up last month. Just for review, I'm not myself recommending any specific changes, but these have been kind of in the back pages collecting dust. These were originally approved in July of 2008 by the board. They were also passed out to all tenants in their buildings, in one of their buildings in 2008. Just up for review if somebody wants to look over and make any changes, recommendations. I mean, I don't have any changes, but I do think that new tenants, I think we have at least one new tenant, they need to be presented by airport rules. Anytime we have a new tenant. Of course, anytime we have changes to rules, they need to be presented to all the tenants. But it's just a review. There's nothing's been changed since 2008.
Yeah, John, I remember that, dude.
I have.
Remember what was done.
Yeah. It doesn't mean you could, if you don't change anything tonight, it doesn't mean you couldn't bring it up at some other date. Just brought it up to look over, that's all. The history of these, the original ones, of course, they were vastly modified. The original rules were the ones that were written by the Decatur Airport Corporation, which was privately owned. And then when the city of Greensburg purchased the airport, our board took the rules and made their own modifications and changes, additions and deletions, and came up with
So
this.
we went through several months.
Yeah, we made a lot of changes. What happened is people asked for the airport rules or asking about them, and they were kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't say lost, but they were in the back. We couldn't access them right away, but I was able to find them in an old computer file, pour them up, and but I don't have any specific changes written. I just want to see if anybody else had anything. I know at the time, Don, I don't think you were on the board back in 2008 or so.
Going along with the airport rules, having spoken with Don Privet, I have a feeling that we discussed it one other time back in July. We had a meeting here with Jerry Scheider and Tom Schumer about making some changes on the way we lease things, that we have a commercial lease for the commercial businesses on the airport, and also maybe change the lease for the hangars to, instead of a 30-day notice, to be 90 days before we ask someone to leave if they no longer have the desire. They give us notice 90 days in advance to prepare. Vice versa, if we have a problem, we only have 90 days to be, and possibly with the commercial side of it, maybe a longer period of time instead of just on a month-to-month basis. Come up with some different rules based on what the type of hangar lease or lease is. We'd have to sit down and go through all of it.
Do they have a copy of this? Mr. Trivet?
Are we on, it seems like we're on a month-to-month lease now, is that right?
We are. the letter from Mr. Tribbett, the board attorney recommends that we consider, instead of a 30-day lease, going to 60 or 90-day. Just give us some consideration. And he states his reasoning in his letter.
Well, I guess I'm wondering, for example, on at least on a non-commercial lease, should we go a year lease with a 30-day termination? Because technically, when you have a 90-day lease like that, there probably should be a new lease signed every 90 days. And so I'm thinking if you do it, annually, that you put in the lease and term of the lease, a 30-day or 60, whatever.
Well, I mean, we don't have a new lease every 30 days now. We've got a 30-day lease.
Well, I know.
He's talking about just notice to terminate.
Right, and I think that's a problem that we have now, because it isn't a 30-day lease.
What is the lease now? A continuing lease?
It's a continuing lease. With a 30-day notice to cancel.
I
Either
thought
party
we
to
had in
cancel.
there, it was a 1-year lease.
It's 30 days.
With a 30-day termination. I'm not sure I'm willing to do like a 90-day lease, because I personally think that if you do a lease like that, it should be signed every day. And that's just too.
I don't see the difference of that in our current 30-day lease. We don't have to sign a lease every 30 days.
No, but now you have.
Well, there's some, there are some things in the law that get into what's called holdover and things like that, I think we'd be better off looking at a longer term lease than a shorter term.
With this being, he just wrote it. It's dated
Yeah, well,
for
I
today.
have-
If you want to read that, Jim, would you be willing to call him and discuss those? Obviously, you're in a better position to discuss those things with him than we are. Your concerns. So,
I'll be glad to talk to them.
once you talk to him and express the concerns, you're bringing up to us to him. I mean, I don't have a way to evaluate that.
He may have, he may have a different idea than I do as to what, but I just don't like the way we're doing it now. I really think, not that I think that it's gonna create major problems or anything.
But he's recommending these changes. If you wouldn't mind talking with him, you can talk with him.
Yeah, I'll try to get Hunter to call him sometime.
Okay. I'd recommend that we table this item until next month. Bring it up next month.
We'll do that effect. Now, are we talking about tabling the rules and?
No, actually, this is kind of separate from the rules anyway. The rules, this isn't even encompassed in the rules, but did anybody have anything they want to bring up in the rules? If not,
I read the rules from front to back. It's the first time I had seen the rules.
yeah.
And personally see nothing wrong with the way
Okay.
what's causing that.
Nobody has any changes, we can leave them go. They can always bring them up at any time. Any other meeting.
Well, that's true too. And we might put on the agenda for next time, discussion about the lease and what changes we think we need to make. I don't know whether Bob wants to actually come down here or not. Yeah.
First of all, on the airport rules, I'll make a motion to table the airport rules with no action. There's no changes for now. And then table our discussion of the Mr. Tribbett's recommendations to the board.
That's a motion on those.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Pass. Okay. Next, approval of the bills. I have a question for Devin on the bills. I received out the other day a bill from Bestway. That's being handled directly through the insurance. Bills for Bestway that they've sent to them.
No, we have to pay those, but we did receive insurance money.
We did, okay.
We did
Well,
receive some
I've
insurance
got it
money.
on the list.
total.
I've got it on the list and I have it here.
I remember Jerry saying something about,
I thought he had sent something directly to them.
well,
Between them.
I need to talk to him because they said that there's a portion of that that was not paid. But he said that they came out and instead of dumping they dumped our dumpster by mistake. There should have been, I don't know if it was Skydives or whose it was that they were supposed to dump.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if that's not what the charge is.
Could be.
So if Jerry wouldn't have had a slip for it, then it wouldn't have been turned in and paid. So let me make a note and I'll talk to Jerry about that.
Well, that's not on here.
I had it down at the bottom.
We can pull that out. That's the only thing I can think is we would have paid the other two. Don't you get like a ticket when you pick those up or something?
Because we don't have a dumpster for the repair work, do we?
There was a dumpster out there for the storm damage. And they came and dumped it a couple times. But I remember him saying there was one time they came out and dumped it. And they were supposed to be out there dumping somebody else's.
Are we having to pay for that and then be reimbursed? Or how's that work?
That should be insurance.
We pay those bills though, and insurance will reimburse that. So those have been turned in.
It shouldn't come out of our airport, this could come out of airport operations temporarily, but it should definitely come out of insurance. Been there, done that, and all.
Should we table that for,
Was that something that needs to be paid though, right? That Bestway fee?
I have it, it is indicated that it's a late bill. I don't know if we had paid on it before or not, I have no idea.
The only time Bestway's been out there is right after the storm, to
Right.
my knowledge. So that would have been back in May. Yeah.
we'll know what this bill's for?
I doesn't have the date, this is late.
Well, and he called and to verify our address because we
Yeah.
had not seen a statement on it, so I had him fax it directly to us.
Yeah, that's right, I had to get you call. So he's.
I don't know where they were mailing it to, but it wasn't to us.
It went to the airport, out at the airport.
That's why I'm wondering if that's not the one that Jerry was talking about.
It could be.
Like I said, I'll call him and talk to him.
Okay.
So you could pull that one out.
But do we still need to pay it? That's the question. We're gonna have to pay it anyway.
Well, not if it's their error though. If they've charged the other customer for it. That's what I remember Jerry telling me was supposed to happen.
Scratch that.
Let's scratch it, find it.
Okay.
Scratch
And I can follow up with Best Way and let them know we're looking into it.
What's the credit card system at fuel pumps at 210 at 511?
511.
What is that for?
Oh, that was it. They put it in that, just read it.
Okay.
Sign it. Sign it.
Okay. I make a motion we approve these bills with that scratch this way.
Second.
Yeah, I'll second.
still having trouble with skydivers, shoots in the fields, and they go in without permission. Yesterday was another example. It's Frank Narwhal's farm. He called me today at noon upset that I let somebody take a shoot. I said I didn't let nobody because the guy that was renting his rental house said the guy pulled in the driveway, walked around the yard in the back and got a shoot. And the guy, whoever got the shoot, I don't know who it was, said that he called me and couldn't get a hold of me. But I did not have a missed call on the phone. I had the phone with me at some time. Bob, as I come in, Bob said he wanted beating on the house. He said nobody was home. My wife was at home.
No, I said somebody was on the phone in the house when I was knocking on your front door.
Nobody, my wife was at home.
I saw her. She was on the phone. I could see her in the living room talking on the
Well,
phone.
you don't go in my field or in other fields I own without permission. I thought you were going to do that this spring.
After going to your
You
house.
can call my cell phone.
I'm sorry?
You should have called my cell phone.
Yeah, I had your house phone that doesn't work anymore now.
My house phone is disconnected. You
I
knew
know,
told
I
you
know.
that 2 years ago.
Well, I don't have your numbers memorized, but I did try that number first. And I did remember that your cell phone is the only number you had. So I then went to your house, and I couldn't get her to answer the door. I also had a nice, long conversation with the gentleman at that house.
Yes.
And he was just as friendly as could be and had absolutely no issues with the
Well, no, because he told the guy that owns the house, and he has issues.
Well, I don't
Because
know. I never met the gentleman before, but he was very nice and had no objections.
I'm nice too if you stay off my property. Then October 2nd or October 8th, I was growing corn on the same farm. I was at home, fueling the combine up, and I seen a chute come, nobody in it down the field. It was either Mark Hastings or Charlie Begg's field. So I went up there and shelled on back behind Charlie. I seen a golf cart come down the runway or the side. I couldn't tell how far away. It was down there for about a half hour. So I know them people went in that field today or down to Hastings and got that chute. I told Mark Hastings time, I said, I think there's a chute in your field or Charlie, so I'll keep you, so keep an eye. Well, I seen the golf cart come down the end of the runway. It was there for about a half hour. So they went in and got the chute. If we get a new airport, is
Dennis?
this FAA approved?
I got a question, excuse me. Did this golf cart have wings on it?
No.
Why would a golf cart be on a runway?
I can't say it's on the runway. I was so far back that it was moving.
Don't say on the runway if you're not sure.
I don't, but
Because that's very important to us. Whether it was on the runway or
that
not.
same day shelling, I'm up there on the hill, two parachuters, different times landed in the Goddard field. And I watched them go over the fence, and they walked across the runway. Is the new airport going to allow this, the FAA?
Well, let's back up for a minute. Dennis, we've been through this a lot.
I know.
We made a really good effort. I know we sat down at your kitchen table and negotiated what we thought was, trying to negotiate between everybody like that. There was further problems. We were told under no uncertain terms by our board attorney and by the mayor to stay out of it. And I understand the problems you have, and I understand the frustrations you have. We manage the airport. They told us to stay out. These problems between tenants and neighbors who skydive, they said stay out of it. They directed us to stay out of it. And I understand your frustration. And we made an effort. We did. We sat down and made an effort to try to smooth that out, to try to get that going. And it's disappointing to me personally that that's not worked out like that. But we're under orders. We don't mess with it. And I know that's frustrating. So they said leave it between the other parties, that you can't. They told us that you can't get involved. Telling us the board we can't get involved.
The first October last year, Bill called me on the cell phone. I didn't answer. I was busy or didn't answer. He left a voicemail that somebody at the airport lost a shoe. Well, it was Steve Shorten from Indianapolis. Well, I picked the chute up there in Mucker Heights field, and Phil was looking for it. And I didn't answer the call because I said, why should he? Why? I thought he wasn't worried about it anymore. So a few days later, I got a call from the sheriff's department, said about a stolen chute, the kid reported stolen. I said, it ain't stolen. I said, I got it, or Larry Muckerhide's got it right now. And I said, I'll give it back if they come to agreement, if they give us permission to go in a standing crop or our field before they get it. I'll let them. I not have. So I told the sheriff, I said, I'll bring it to the next airport meeting and we'll discuss it. He said, okay. Told the sheriff that. Well, that was on Saturday, Friday evening, October 15th was our wedding anniversary. We're eating down in Columbus when I got the call. I said, I'll bring him Monday to the airport. On Monday, I was busy. I didn't go. A few hours later, Amy ends up on my front porch step looking for the chute. I called Larry Muckerhide, and he said, well, just keep it. I said, well, they said they'll give me agreement, but they tell me when they go in my field and get the chute, I want to get the chute. I don't want them on our property. He said, okay. Yesterday, last week, 2 weeks ago, I know they were in Charlie Bed going through standing corn, getting that chute. You know, if I had a renter like that, he wouldn't be renting for me. Now, I know you don't care. You don't care about fuel sales.
That's not true, Dennis. If I may just interject here. What John told you is pretty well true. We control the airport, but we do not control what happens on your farm. That's your responsibility. And whatever happens on your farm is between you and whoever you think has abused you. We have no control over that. What would you have us do?
There should be some rules.
Pardon?
You got airport rules.
We do, but there isn't anything.
You know, if I had a tenant like that, he'd be gone.
It doesn't.
If I had a tenant renting a house and going in other people's houses,
It
property,
didn't take-
four-wheelers, he'd be gone.
It did not take place on the airport property, correct? And for that matter, if it was in Charlie Beggs' field, Charlie hasn't said anything, has he?
I'm just telling you what happened that day. You know, it goes on.
I know what goes on, Dennis, but again, it's between you and who you think is abusing you. We have no control. We have nothing in that. That's it.
No, I appreciate what Dennis says. You know, it's just some common courtesy, a few phone calls, a few
That's all.
considerations, that there would be no problems, no difficulties. But,
Exactly.
That's correct. I agree.
and early on, when we first became part of the city, we tried to mediate, but that didn't work, and we were told to stay out of it. We were told, don't mess with it. By the mayor and by Don Trivet, our attorney. Don't mess with it. Stay out of it. So, but that being said, my personal wishes are anyway that some courtesy be made, the proper phone calls be made, channels, and what you end up with is some excuses. Well, we didn't follow those courtesies because of whatever excuses. But you know, I think after a while you can kind of see through some of these excuses. But anyway, we're told to stay out of it, so that's what we have to do. We appreciate your coming to say that, though. Say your piece.
Anyone else? Mr. Manley?
I gave you at the last meeting a copy of the capital improvements program passed, and we need to get it updated. We have time. I just keep it on top of the agenda. It's a sheet that looks like this. On the front, it's got tabulations, the Excel file, and on the back, it's got a picture. Just for clarification purposes, again, that say items priority on the left column, it says priority on the Excel file for the table. Items 1, 2, and 3 are done. 4 is partially completed. there's something, a little over $100,000 left, because we used that money instead of putting it into the land, used it for the snow removal equipment, which is what we wanted to do. The other thing is that, you know how delays are with federal grant programs, environmental and all the steps you have to go through before you get the new runway. Maybe considering putting runway 1836 surface treatment in there to see if the FAA would agree with improving on the current runway for a short period of time. I don't know how that plays in with the actual requirements for conditions of that runway. It may be not an eligible item, but I think it's worth trying anyhow. Just put it in your CIP.
So what were you saying, John? Which fiscal year 2012?
We are in 2012 now, right?
You're already in 2012.
So
Yes.
when are we looking at, you used the word, can't think of that. Are we looking at resurfacing then, the 1836?
Just a surface treatment. It's not really resurfacing, so to speak. It's like a slurry seal, just to seal off the surface so it'll last maybe another 3 to 4 years at tops.
And that would go in, what do you think?